Hi guys, so I just want to show you the contempt, once again, that the Conservative Party have for industry, for MPs, for Parliament. There's so much here to unpack. So you're going to hear the Environment Secretary, George Eustice, respond to a question about support for the fishing industry and the idea of asking the EU for help to extend a grace period, for example. Because at the moment, the fishing industry is suffering because they're not able to export their fish because of this paperwork. This is not something that can be just fixed with a bit of tweaking or throwing more staff at the issue. This needs to be fixed. Now, one way of fixing it could be asking the EU for a grace period. But because George Eustice used to be a member of UKIP, he joined the Conservative Party then, he has complete indifference to the fishing industry. And I've said before, Brexiteers understood that they could use the fishing industry as a tool to convince the rest of the public that Brexit will be a success and Brexit is something that they should vote for. But let's hear the question and how he responded to it.
The businesses are concerned.
Let's head up to Scotland with SNP spokesperson Deirdre Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Europe's biggest fish market in Peterhead is empty. An industry has collapsed because this government's ideological blinkers meant it made a mess of negotiations. And ministers think it's a teething problem or a paperwork problem or it's not their fault. Will ministers now tell us how they intend to sort this out? Will the government go back to the EU, seek a grace period and new negotiations on market access, as many in the sector are asking for, even if that means accepting some regulatory alignment?
No.
There we go. Now, you can say, oh, well, she's from the SNP and she has her own ideology. Okay, but let's listen once again to the question that she asked.
Fish market in Peterhead is empty. An industry has collapsed because...
So an industry has collapsed. So are you going to support this industry?
This government's ideological blinkers meant it made a mess of negotiations. And ministers think it's a teething problem or a paperwork problem or it's not their fault. Will ministers now tell us how they intend to sort this out?
So let's once again park the politics for a moment. How are the government going to sort this out? She asked, are you going to tell us how you're going to sort it out? And he said, no. So there is this mess. How are you going to sort it out? Are you going to tell us how you're going to sort it out? And the response is no. This is contempt, not just for the SNP and for Parliament. This is contempt for the fishing industry.
Will the government go back to the EU, seek a grace period?
So will you go back to the EU and seek a grace period? It's not stop Brexit, okay? Let's be clear about this. This is not about stopping Brexit. Brexit is the problem here. A grace period would allow some mechanism, some time to fix this. But they don't want to do that because his response is no.
And new negotiations on market access, as many in the sector are asking.
So the sector is asking, please fix this problem. Government, please fix this problem. How are you going to fix this problem? Can you tell us? What are you going to do? And the response is, no, we're not going to tell you because we don't give a crap about you. We used you and then we're throwing you away. Remember, Nigel Farage sailed up the Thames on a boat to promote Brexit. Now the fishing industry is asking Nigel Farage, can you help us? You promoted this. You used us to promote Brexit. And Nigel Farage is AWOL, is missing, his location is unknown. And unfortunately, people will continue to support Nigel Farage. People will continue to support Boris Johnson. Where is Boris Johnson now? Why isn't he going to the fishing industry? Why isn't he speaking to them? Why isn't he opening up a channel and saying, look, this is what we're going to do. We're responsible for this. We're going to try and help you out. He's not. And how come very few people are actually talking about this? Why aren't more people saying, where is Boris Johnson? Where is the minister? Where is Liz Truss? Where are all these? Where is the cabinet? Why aren't they meeting with the fishing industry to sort this out? Why aren't they meeting with the farmers to sort this out? Why aren't they? Well, we know the answer why they're not. Because they don't give a crap about them. They have never given a crap about them. They don't care. Once again, as I said before, they use them as a tool. The fishing industry, and I've said this before, the fishing industry represents almost nothing to the UK economy. But politically, it was very useful. It's sexier, sorry to use this term, but than, for example, financial services or the IT sector. It's something that the ordinary public were able to, they have a romantic image of the fishing industry. Fishermen, rugged people going out into the sea, catching the fish, a hardy community, something, as I said, romantic. There was something hugely romantic about the fishing industry. And the Brexiteers, and you almost have to applaud them. I would not, don't do that, but you almost have to applaud how they were able to use something so small and, sorry to say this, but insignificant in respect to the UK economy, and use it as a tool to convince the rest of the, people who live in cities, people who live in high-rise apartments, to vote for Brexit because, well, we have to protect our fishing fleet. We have to take back control. It was a masterstroke, to be able to convince people to focus on something that is quite, in a sense, insignificant. And I've said this before, the fishing industry represents about the same as the lawnmower industry. Thanks to somebody on the channel who pointed that out. The lawnmower industry in the UK. But you didn't have Boris Johnson riding around on a lawnmower, thank God. That would have been a horrible thing to see. But we have seen images of Boris Johnson, Nigel Farage going to the ports, meeting with the fishermen, explaining to them, and we've seen videos of UKIP even. Remember, George Eustice was a member of UKIP, and recently I uploaded a video about members of UKIP going to the glass eels factory or production plant, and using that as a tool to convince people who've never even seen a boat, never been on board a boat, to vote for Brexit. We have to protect these industries. They're vital. They represent the British spirit. And as I said, you almost have to commend them for that. But George Eustice's response is indicative of the attitude of the British government at the moment.
Realignment.
Seriously?
No.
And what pisses me off as well is what's the point in allowing, what's the point of the Speaker of the House? Why didn't he challenge him and say, sorry, can you explain in a bit more detail? No, you're not going to support. Of course, the Speaker of the House doesn't have this power. It is quite frustrating to hear that. Basically, I think she should have said, what's your response to the fishing industry? And probably his response would have been, we don't give a crap. You served your purpose. And you'll vote for us again because you're friggin' idiots. I'm sorry if that's offensive to people, but we know, let's just call a spade. Many people who voted for these people in the past were thrown under a bus by them, will turn around and vote for them again. If there was a vote tomorrow, Boris Johnson, there's a possibility that Boris Johnson would be returned to office. Now, you can say that's because of the opposition are crap, or you can say it's because people will always vote against their own interests. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?